Hi everybody, you're back with just me until Wednesday, unfortunately. We only got managed to voice over 2 days worth of videos, me and Taylor's, but he is back with me on Wednesday, so fingers crossed we'll get a few more done then. So this is actually Taylor's patient. Now this was a really solid piece of wax by the looks of it. So he's got in here with the standard size Zoellner tube. There's not a tremendous amount of room in here, but looks, it's, you can see that tube is almost touching the sides of the canal wall. So this is quite a narrow entrance to the canal. But this, you can see he's lifting from the bottom. He's trying to detach this thicker, stickier part of the wax. Give this a little bit of a lift. There we go. It's on its way. Oh, now that looked like almost like there was a piece of skin that was just lifting off the canal wall all the way around there. He's really trying. You can see what's going on just underneath the Zoellner tube there, how he's trying to lift that piece of skin up. Well, there you go. There's the detachment he wanted to see. Now, what happens sometimes is when this skin, with this epithelial migration we talk about a lot in these videos, when the skin migrates out, what happens is that sometimes the surface layer doesn't detach as it's meant to, and it will almost lift into the entrance of the canal. And that's what's happened there. It's kind of wrapped around that little bit of a plug. I think that was a bit of skin. He moved off it really quickly, so I think that was a little bit of skin that came away then. Let's see if we can get this next drier piece. Is that going to come out nicely? Oh, it's nearly there. You can see he's just trying to detach it off that left-hand side. A little bit of a wiggle. There we go. Out it starts to come. Oh, is that quite a long piece? It looks like it might be a little bit longer than most. Let's have a look. Oh, he didn't get a skin ribbon, did he? Oh, I'd be gutted. I would genuinely gutted. I love a good skin ribbon. My goodness me, that would have been, if that had stayed together, that would have been an epic skin ribbon. Look, it's still going. Can he bring this down? So what have we got? That's still skin. Oh my word, that's still going. Oh, that would have been such an amazing ribbon if that had just stayed together. I think he would have almost, that was a bit of wax, he would have almost equaled my record, I think. Eardrum looking healthy, skin looking good there, no issues there at all. That's absolutely fine, and it looks really, considering the amount of skin we just took away. Oh, no, you wouldn't. Looking at that, unless a bit shot up the tube. Biggest one I did, I think, was 11 centimeters. There's a video on that here somewhere. So just under an inch and a half, 3.5 centimeters on that one. So we're back to my patient in this one now. Now this was some really hard plugs, and you can see that ear canal is really sort of narrow right at the entrance. A bit like Taylor was saying on yesterday's videos, just that we've had sort of like a string of sort of narrow canals and hard waxes and things like that coming through at the moment. So using the not the Rosen, nearly Rai Curette even, sorry. Rai hook, oh my word, sorry about that. This is the Rai hook coming out here. Now I like the Rai hook. My favourite tool up until probably we had these come out was the St. Bart's hook. I found that really useful for lots of patients, but I'm finding that I'm using the Rai hook a lot. Now I'm a fan of the sort of the bend, these almost S-shaped tools that we've got from Neil. I think they're really easy to use, and they do make it a lot easier to maintain your bridge. I know Taylor, he struggles a little bit with those ones, but he does like the double-ended tool, which is the Rai hook and Rai Curette. On that one, he enjoys using that one, but this has come away really well. There was a little bit of a gap, which is why we were able to use that hook in there just to pull this through. Now we've got a little bit of dry skin, and it's really fighting me. This is super dry. Now if you are sort of like somebody who does earwax removals, you can take a look at the outside of that canal and you know that that canal is going to be dry. It's just got that sort of dry appearance to it, which means the wax and the skin is also usually going to be dry in there and much tougher. I was having this conversation with Katie, our trainee, on Wednesday, and we were talking about, it gets to the point where you look in a lot of ears and you can almost tell straight away that when I look in this now, I'm assessing what tool I'm going to be using straight away. And sometimes you can even get an idea of that just by looking at the outer portion of the ear canal. You think, oh yeah, that's going to be a dry wax when I look in there. So we've gone back in with the Rai Curette here and just lifting from the sort of, or pulling from the bottom, and now trying to lift that dry section off the bottom of the canal there. Sorry, got a bit of a frog in my throat. So I switched over now to the Rai Curette and just pulling this through. There we go. You can see how all that wax is just crumbling away there. There we go. There's the next section. Just dropping behind it. Difficult because the skin doesn't want to let go. And when the skin is really, really hard like this, it's difficult because it really, really hangs onto the canal, and there isn't a lot of sort of flexibility in it at all. So when you try and pull this out, it really does kind of hold on tight. Let's just pull this forwards. There we go. Out that comes. And then we're just going to get above this next section, or just pull, oh, there we go. Just peeling that off on the side. Awkward when they drop down from the roof of the canal because they're sort of usually angled away from you. So difficult to get a good suction grip. So I've dropped back a little bit, hoping to peel down the sort of what would be the front end, so the end nearest to the outside part of the ear. Peel that down just to get a better grip. There we go. Out that comes. Lovely. Let's take a look beyond that. A couple of little tiny, tiny dry pieces there. You can see me just having a good old scope around that canal there just to see what we're left with. So we're just going to go in now and pick up these little bits. A little bit of dry skin. I'm trying to almost nip this off, trying rather than peeling it, because these peels are, when they're this dry, are always a little bit harder to do. Let's give this a little bit. See, I'm trying to shear, but look how far down that goes. So this is literally the surface layer of skin here. Just want to shear the majority of this off. My advice for this patient, I know they say this a lot, guys, but the advice for these ones with very, very dry canals, if they start using a little bit of olive oil on a regular basis, it'll counteract a lot of this dryness. All those little lifts of skin there will all settle back to the canal underneath. So some quite big chunky plugs this. We are just under, what's that, 1.5 centimeters, 3/4 of an inch on that one there, guys. I got a good one to end in the compilation. I should say this is Taylor's patient. Now, make sure you stay tuned for the second ear canal in this one, guys. I won't spoil it for you, but it's a good one. So what we've got here, this is a very, very hard piece of wax, super sticky underneath as well. And you get that a lot with dry canals, as we just had this. You can see it's peeling away almost like chewing gum off the canal wall here. So this is the standard size Zoellner tube in here, just giving this a little bit of a wiggle. There we go. We'll do a little bit more of a wiggle now in a second. There we are, and out that starts to come. Is he going to get the whole thing out in one go? Looks like it, or if he's not, it's a good proportion of it. We've got two little, almost like little boulders sitting right next door to the eardrum there. So we're just going to use the standard size Zoellner tube again just to pick these top sections off. There you go, out that comes. And just do another one as well. Or just trying to, you can see I'm just trying to peel this edge away. There we go. And we're just going to get that little dry skin. He's just getting this bit away now just to be able to go in now and get that piece out effectively. Sometimes it hangs on to these drier pieces on the outer portion of the canal, so gentle work this bit. Needs to lift without touching the eardrum or the canal wall. Almost. Oh, that is holding on tight in there, isn't it? Look at that. Could put a little bit of olive oil on that bit if you needed to, just to help it along its way. But there we go, out that plug comes. That was very gentle work there by Taylor. You just needed to get that little bit of a lift, and eardrum looking absolutely fab in there. Okay, guys, what's this? See if you can work this one out. I'm not going to spoil anything, but have a little look. Could be any number of different things with the colour. Now, what's the consistency like? And whoever just typed into that comment section, Q-tip, end of Q-tip, That's wrong. It's not the end of a Q-tip. There you go. Have another guess. See if you can work it out. Got it yet? This is actually tissue paper. um, I'm not too sure because this is Taylor's patient as to why this happened. The how, I think, is pretty obvious. I think the patient pushed this in themselves because there's a hell of a lot of it in here. But yeah, patient had put this in. I don't know whether they were trying to block their ear, trying to absorb some oil, but it just seems like a heck of a lot to just be sort of trying to absorb some oil. This ear canal is pretty much chock-a-block full of tissue paper. Now, I had tissue paper a long time ago. There's actually a video of mine where something similar to this happened with a patient. My goodness me, what had they used altogether? They had a really itchy ear, so they'd used drops that was prescribed for their dog in their ear canal. Then decided that probably wasn't going to do the trick. So was then putting tissue paper in to absorb the drops back out, and the tissue paper disintegrated and ended up with a blockage like this. And then they decided they would pour vinegar in to try and dissolve the tissue paper. So yeah, that video was a messy one. If you have a look back, if you do a search on our videos, if you go onto our sort of main page on the channel, look for tissue paper, and you'll find that one. Have a little look for the 11 centimeter skin ribbon as well. That's a really good one to watch, and that's still one of my all-time favorite removals. Still in 20 odd years, that's still one of my all-time favorites. Anyway, Taylor had this large piece of dry skin that was stuck to the bottom of the canal there. And the reason it was so dry is the tissue paper was just absorbing all the oil in the canal. Now, what he has got here, which I'm doubtful he'll be able to remove, just because it looks, not any reflection on Taylor's skills, it just looks so solid. I don't think this is going to come away, certainly not on a first visit, is this hard plate of dry, and this is super dried out wax because that tissue paper has absorbed all the oil over the eardrum. So I sometimes it just hangs onto the eardrum a little bit too much, and you know, you have to be cautious then when you're peeling these things off. So the only way to tell is when he gets that first initial sort of push against the drum, which I think he just had then. I didn't see any movement to the wax. Yeah, I don't think that's coming away. No, I was going to say I would probably advise a patient lots of oil while laying on this side. Wow, how much tissue paper that is. That is 3 centimeters worth of tissue paper, along with another 2 centimeters worth of wax. So you've got 5 centimeters, just under 2 inches of tissue paper on wax, guys, on that one. Mind blowing. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching the video today. Hope you did enjoy it as much as I did voicing it over. If you do enjoy the videos, don't forget you can always like, heart, share, follow, and subscribe for me. We love getting new subscribers on the channel. Lots of you subscribing at the moment, which is absolutely fab. We love to have new subscribers. And I was going to say something else. Oh yeah, if you really enjoy the videos, you can also consider becoming members of the channel. You get even more videos every single week then as well. But as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I shall see you all again real soon. Bye, everybody.